Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye Nashra Prayashu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sadhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sadhar Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Let us go to the class today. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aham Brahma Cha Sarvascha Jagatha Karanam Param Atmeshwara Upadrishta Swayan Drig Avisheshanaha. Shri Bhagavan, Lord Vishnu, Uvacha said, Aham, I, Brahma, Cha, I, Sarvaha, Lord Shiva, Cha, I, Jagataha, or the material manifestation, Karanam, cause, Param, supreme, Atma Ishvaraha, the super soul, Upadirishta, the witness, Swayam Drik, self-sufficient, Avisheshanaha, there is no difference. Lord Vishnu replied, Brahma, Lord Shiva and I are the same, supreme cause of the material manifestation. I am the super soul, the self-sufficient witness. But impersonally there is no difference between Brahma, Lord Shiva and me. Lord Vishnu replied, Brahma, Lord Shiva and I are the supreme cause of the material manifestation. I am the super soul, the self-sufficient witness. But impersonally, there is no difference between Brahma, Lord Shiva, and me. Yes, Supriti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Brahma was born out of the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva was born out of the body of Brahma. Lord Vishnu is therefore the supreme cause. In the Vedas also, it is stated that in the beginning, there was only Vishnu, Narayana, there was no Brahma or Shiva. Similarly, Shankaracharya confirmed this Narayana Paraha. Narayana or Lord Vishnu is the origin, and Brahma and Shiva are manifested after creation. Lord Vishnu is also Atmeshwara, the super soul in everyone. Under his direction, everything is prompted from within. For example, in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Tene Brahma Ruda. He first educated Lord Brahma from within. In Bhagavad Gita 10.2, Lord Krishna states, Aham Adirhi Devanam. Lord Vishnu or Krishna is the origin of all demigods, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. In another place in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Krishna states, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavaha. Everything is generated from me. This includes all the demigods. Similarly, in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadhyasya Yataha. And in the Upanishads is the statement, Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Everything is generated from Lord Vishnu, everything is maintained by him, and everything is annihilated by his energy. Therefore, by their actions and reactions, the energies which come from him create the cosmic manifestations and also dissolve the whole creation. Thus, the Lord is the cause and also the effect. Whatever effect we see in the interaction of his energy, and because the energy is generated from him, he is both cause and effect. Simultaneously, everything is different and the same. It is said that everything is Brahman. Sarvam kalva idam Brahma. In the highest vision, nothing is beyond Brahman, and therefore Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are certainly non-different from him. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shundavadi Pashad Deshatarine. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Aham Brahma Cha Sarvascha Jagatah Karanam Param Atmeshwara Upadrishna Swayandrik Avisheshanaha. Lord Vishnu replied, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and I are the supreme cause of the material manifestation. I am the super soul, the self-sufficient witness. But impersonally, there is no difference between Brahma, Lord Shiva, and me. So there is no difference. So let us understand. First thing is that compare to the normal society that we see today. In a normal society, everything is presently influenced by science to a large extent. And if you see, the science at the beginning was very theistic. Everybody accepted God is there. If you look at the statements of Newton and other scientists who are the founders of science, we overall see a very theistic pattern. But later we see slowly they started becoming agnostic. They started doubting. And presently we have the phase they become very atheistic. And because they are, that's like they call social media influencers today. They are the influencers of the society. We see the mass is generally tending toward atheism. So this is a reality that you have. So this kind of an information, the later analysis that the controllers and who is actually supreme controller, the second part, overall, to even accept there is a controller is difficult for the society and large today. Society means don't talk about people who are already class 50, 60 years. They are about to go. The coming generation is either agnostic or atheistic. So large section of society is today influenced by this. So to even generate a concept that there is a controller is something unacceptable to do. And not only that, there is a controller. This controller is not in the sense that people think of. For people, God means He should supply my desires. He should supply resources for the enjoyment of my desire. This is not bhakti. And we should introspect whether this is going on. Neither God, neither ISKCON, or neither this world, we should think about this deeply. Has no business to satisfy and fulfill my desires. It is not created for that. Prabhupada did not create ISKCON so that I fulfill my desires. He created this movement so that we can fulfill Krishna's desires. So when you know there is God, then you know that actually my desires have to be kept aside and I should fulfill Lord's desires, and then that is the beginning of bhakti. Bhakti means I am actually dedicating myself to fulfill the desires of Krishna. But in the sadhana stage we are in now, where we are just beginning, we're still loaded with strong material desires, but as per the orders of sadhana and the service thereof whole day, we are doing something which is actually pleasure for the Lord, but heart is not in resonance with that. We're doing it, Hare Krishna, but I'm thinking about my desires. How do I fulfill my vow? Will it be possible to fulfill this desire? Still desiring material enjoyment and doing still maintaining strong material attachments, strong material desires, and doing devotion service. This is hollow, beginning stage. But real bhakti means actually that I'm trying to satisfy the Lord's desire because He is the supreme. So for people to understand in the society that there is a controller and I'm trying to work for satisfaction of his desire, that is actually success. But you cannot do this with any devata. You can only do this platform with Vishnu. Either Brahma or Shiva. You cannot say, I am just working to satisfy their desires. Why will I do that anyway? Everything has to have a motive. Why will I do this? I will only work to... Actually, I don't want anything from Lord Shiva. I'm only working to satisfy the desires of Lord Shiva. It is not possible. And I'm actually a devotee of Lord Brahma, and I'm only wanting to satisfy desires of Brahma. That is also not possible. But when I say that I've devoted Lord Vishnu and I'm working to satisfy Lord Vishnu's desire, actually it is possible. And why? Because the relationship to Vishnu is transcendental. The return is on transcendental platform, that is unlimited spiritual happiness, peace, and dedicated myself to fulfill the desires of Vishnu. Jiver of Sarup hoye Krishna nitya dasa. I resonate with my original identity As I part and parcel of the Lord, I'm working for the pleasure of Vishnu. So it is not possible. Artificially, I think I'm dedicated. Just like the politicians, they say, I'm dedicated to my country. Now the election is coming. I want to. Nahi vishwasha kartavyam. Chanakya has warned us, please do not trust. So anyway, so proceeding from this point, so what we have developed till now, that actually this kind of a mentality, that there is a controller means I am insignificant, I am trying to satisfy the desires of the controller, is a big step for society. Very big step for society. Therefore, in the Vedic culture, even Devata worship is encouraged in the beginning. Bhagavad Gita itself, 3rd chapter, talks about it, because person learns to bow down. Person learns to begin to try to satisfy something other than himself, a higher authority. That's why they go to temple, they bow down, they take some fruits, they do some worship, they offer some prayers. What are they trying to do? Satisfy a controller higher than themselves. But what is wrong today is that in a general society, without properly understanding these things, what we see is impersonalism, which Srila Prabhupada warned, but that is what is most of the society in all the religions is actually tending toward impersonalism. In the modern day time, nobody can even to this day compare to the effect on Vaishnavism that Srila Prabhupada has brought. If there is somebody in the world who has strongly propounded Vaishnavism, it's Srila Prabhupada, and made a major impact in the whole world, across the religions, across the countries, races. He made a tremendous impact in the world, and it continues to make impact through his books and his movement of propounding Vaishnavism as the correct philosophy, wherein we are servants of Vishnu, he is the supreme controller. And we are not equal to God. But what has been society spread is impersonalism. Impersonalism. Society is generally impersonal. They talk about Trimurti and all that. Recently, somebody had sent me the link, and I was watching some serial on Hanumanji, and just as I saw, so strange it is. Everything Ramayana is happening. There is a panel of devatas which are, thinking what to do. Now, Lord Rama is like junior to the panel of devatas. Very funny. Very funny. God is not junior to the devatas. All the devatas, Om Tada Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suraya. All the devatas are looking at the lotus feet of Vishnu to worship him. So, first, before speaking, we should get educated. It's very easy to speak, but it's painful to study. First study. Because then you misrepresent, okay. And what they do is that they are not, in one sense, they know they're not going to be any reaction because society is at that level. And the people in the society today has totally become impersonal understanding. There are millions of gods that influence our life. We should pray to them. And ultimately, God has no form. This is what is permeating in the society today. God has forms, beautiful forms. Brahma Samhita explains, so beautiful form the Lord has. Santa Sadeva Hridayesha Yamashama Sundaram Achinta Guna Sarupam. Very beautiful form of the Lord has been glorified in the Shastra. Okay? And recorded in the Vedic literature as people got darshan of that unlimitedly beautiful form. So how do you say God has enough form? He has form, he has the existence. But it is actually impersonalism which is permeating, and the danger of impersonalism is that instead of understanding that I am actually subordinate to the desires of the Lord, I have to sacrifice my so-called silly material desires and sense gratification propensities for the pleasure of the Lord, I start thinking I am God. Because impersonalism means all of us are God. And then when I am God, what is my desire is God's desire. And then person can do any sinful activity. It's actually atheism, but at least atheist doesn't have philosophy here. Strong philosophy now, impersonalism builds in, and person can do any sinful activity and justify saying, I am God. So my desire is God's desire. When I am happy, God is happy. I'll do anything. When I am happy, God is happy. So I will do anything I want to do. And this is what actually has led to. So, therefore, Prabhupada's name is in a Pranamantra, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. This is Nirvishesha philosophy, that actually God has no qualities, God has no personality, no Vishesha. And Shunyavada, the atheism. Ultimately, everything has come from nothing. At least Nirvishesha, they say Brahman is supreme. But Nirvishesha, Shunyavada, they say no, Shunya, everything has come from nothing. So there is no cause or the material manifestation. Everything has come by an accident. And gradually it evolved. So what do they? So okay, this philosophy is clear. No controller. The first thing, impersonalism, we can appreciate why it is wrong. Because as per the Shastra, Prabhupada quotes in the Shloka purport, Shastra says there was no time, there was no Shiva, no Brahma, no Devatas, nothing. Only Narayana existed. Only Krishna existed. Wow. So this, as per the Shastra, it is very clear. At least impersonalists accept the Shastra. So we are showing from the Shastra. They don't say we are Nastik, they say we are Astik. Astik in the sense, they don't accept God, but they accept the Shastra. Okay, fine. You accept the Shastra. From the Shastra, I give you quotation, so you can try to understand. So you can talk to the impersonalist. Yes, God has a personality, God has a beautiful form, and He has unlimited beautiful pastimes. We should participate in them. Good. It dealt with the impersonalist. And it is very dangerous, impersonal philosophy, that practically person become more dangerous than an atheist because he starts indulging in sinful activities or anything. He doesn't understand in minute nature that influenced by Maya, he is desiring so many unwanted things. Just because I have desired something, it does not need to be fulfilled. Shri Radha Govind ki, just because I got some silly desire, it's not that the whole manifestation, material manifestation, has to work hard to fulfill my desires. It is wrong. I am a limited, a very small entity, easily covered by Maya, and as a Kanishta, as a sadhaka in this stage I have to keep filtering what is for the pleasure of the Lord, what is not for the pleasure of the Lord. And as an advanced devotee means, this filtering becomes very, very refined. In the beginning, we do only what is sinful, what is not sinful, but then desiring Mana Puja Pratishtha is also not good. We understand, more refined, more refined, more refined, more refined. I'm absorbed only for activities with the pleasure of the Lord. That's an advanced devotee. That is something we understand. Now the next thing is that we can address is that, how do you say about this society being promoted, atheism? So what do they say, the so-called scientists? They say that actually we got evidence in the rocks that there is a gradual evolution of the species. It started from an accident, and a big lucky accident, we are there on the earth. And they say that we see that in the living entities, there is a sequence of the genes as we see along. But the problem with them is that they're never together. The biggest joke is if you want to counter what scientists say, another scientist will speak something against it. So you can, they're not together. So from using that itself, you get enough evidence. There is a team of scientists called Intelligent Design, which are now slowly waking up. So I told you, from science has gone, it has to go a full circle. From theistic to agnostic to atheistic, and again it will come back to theistic. They started theistic. So how they can be sure that what they say is the absolute word? They keep changing. And they can again change and come back to theistic. Possible. So now, what they started with that, just to give you a little scientific term, They said that in the record in the rocks, if we see that, we see gradual evolution. But then they recognize, yes, there is something called missing link. Suddenly we see one species and another species. We do not find in between species. So they call it missing link. They have set of the biggest thing they got, the Cambrian explosion, within this a sudden development of species. That is one problem they got. Second problem they got in this missing link was, there was a book written led by, in fact, one big scientist who is also a ISKCON follower now. He says forbidden archaeology. They got some, just like, see, I want to enjoy. So I will love to have a philosophy which promotes that. There is no God, there is no controller, everything came by accident. Work hard and then work harder. Somebody went to a big university in America, he saw a slogan, work hard, then work harder. Work hard, party harder. So this is the philosophy, Work is worship. In Mangalore itself, one college answer, work is worship. So basically people want hedonistic philosophy because that's what their system is. See, we are not, just like in Sattvic, Rasic, Tamasic consciousness, we have different kind of opinions. I am not independent in making my opinion. My opinion depends on the kind of consciousness I am. Just like we see, today a politician is in one party because he wanted a cabinet post, he was having it. Tomorrow the party refuses to even give him a ticket. He next day resigns and switches to another party. But what is funny thing is that both the parties are different ideologies. One may be rightist, one may be leftist. Leftist means going more towards socialism and charity and more atheistic generally. Rightist means, just like India we have Hindutva party. Similar in America there are pro-Christian parties, rightist, Republicans, and then there are liberals who are not so religious, Democrats, if I'm right. And similar in India we have pro-religion, we have one party, and then another one is more liberals, more into socialism, welfare. Totally different ideology. And even there is communist with another ideology. They change. Not only that, they change, they start believing in that philosophy because it suits them. This is very funny. We tend to accept some philosophy which suits our situation. We are not actually really taking something as per truth and searching for truth. We accept something which tends to suit our existence. So it happens or not? It happens. So similarly, the world is towards hedonism. Everybody is for sense enjoyment. Religion comes later. First thing, the strong desire to enjoy the senses, even though it's failing, even though it doesn't satisfy, even though people never work, but somehow the society is that let us enjoy our senses. Now for this, you need a philosophy which can support that. So therefore people are accepting these philosophies because of that. But they have problems. So there are a lot of evidence they got of remains of human remains which are very old. In the modern science, 1.5 lakh years, that's it, modern human beings appear. They're getting million-year-old artifacts which are definitely designed by intelligent personality like humans. How do you reconcile them? So they just keep it aside. Because just like we ignore anything which doesn't, he wrote a book called Forbidden Archaeology and he threw in their face. On what basis you neglected this evidence? They said, this remains of something was found, which is say 10 million year old, But human beings have only come 1.5 lakh old. You know what happened? Somebody must have dug it deep and put it at that layer. Just for convenience sake. Do you have evidence of that? No. Why do you saying that? Because it doesn't fit our philosophy. This is not the way. This is not even science. You cannot do this. You cannot push. You cannot filter out the data which doesn't fit your philosophy. This is not. This is totally unscientific, unethical. So many things actually in this line has been proved wrong. But the joke is, 50 years the books have not changed. Like a gospel it is taught. And what happens to the innocent youngsters when they go and study? They get lost. And that is what we see today. So therefore, it's very important for parents also. Don't depend on the schools and colleges to teach children's values. Please do not depend. And do not depend on them to definitively teach spirituality. That you have to do the work at home. And if you do not do, then be ready with a hedonistic kind of attitude. They will be totally out of your control very soon. Hedonism means no rules, no regulation. What we say in Kannada, mast maja madi. You have to deal with it. You are fine with it? Okay, fine. So you have to do work. So now coming to the three controllers that is mentioned here in the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, it's very clear at superficial level of understanding people talk about Trimurti as being one. But Prabhupada is using the word impersonally. In fact, he's putting the word inside, impersonally. It is not personality. God is a different personality. We are different personality. Nityo nityaram chetanas chetananam eko bahunavid dati kaman. This shloka is not sitting independent. It is part of the whole Vedic literatures where again and again it is said, Nityo nityanam. God is one individual. Nityanam, there are many individuals. Chetanas chetananam. God is one conscious personality and we are also unlimited conscious personality. Eko bahunavid dati kaman. But alone, the God is satisfying the desires of all the living entities. And this is actually the fact. There's a difference between us and God. Even though we are also individual, even though we are also conscious, but actually God has the capacity to sustain, maintain all other living entities. So Brahma and Shiva apparently looks like they are so powerful. Therefore, we see now here, Lord Shiva offered prayers, Brahma offered prayers. That's not only one place. All through the Shastra you'll see this. And there is total clarity. In the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni approaches Brahma as a my dear father. I think you're God. But you are praying to whom? You're so powerful. You can't even imagine the Brahma's power. He's creating living entities out of everything, left, right, center. Just by thinking from within his heart, he's creating Manasputra, creating living entity. And same personality, Brahma replies, no, my dear Narada, my dear son, I'm not God. I'm just a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He says. Similarly, Lord Shiva also declares in his Rudra Gita, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 4th canto. This is the second canto. Yes, I'm a servant of the Supreme Personality of God. You see that? How beautiful it is, isn't it? So, as for the Shastra, there is no confusion. But society, nobody reads Shastra. All they learn is some TV series. So what they were understanding? A general hodgepodge understanding, some khichdi. So, therefore, our request would be that you're all educated people. Please, you're already enjoying daily, but I request you to study. So, there is a difference between hearing a class and studying. Studying means you read yourself. Now, as I told you so many times, I also met devotees and I heard from them this point that Krishna is Supreme Personality and all Devatas are servant. This is totally against the societal understanding. But still, I was very much happy with Hare Krishna Kirtan and the association. I accepted it. Okay, they must be telling right. But later, when I read Bhagavad Gita, even if you read Bhagavad Gita, patiently, yourself see the verses and say, yes, it is true. As per the scripture, there is no doubt. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Aham adi devana. Bhagavad Gita Krishna declared, I am the source of all the Devatas. This is clear. So it is requested that all of you make a sincere study. Prabhupada wanted all the educated people to make study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Make a study. Study means have a book, have a pen and paper and study. Understand everything. It takes time, but don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. It takes time. To study Bhagavatam is not a 1 month project. It is many years project. In fact, we are also started now Bhakti Vaibhava course where the study of Bhagavatam is happening. So you can, I think in all the languages it is started. But we are doing is overall giving you some picture here and there. But analysis and study will be something very nice, which is happening in Bhakti Vaibhava course. You can join that. And Bhakti Shastri, those who have finished. Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta and Bhakti Sarvabhauma. Okay? This is systematic study. There are question bank, there is lesson plan, everything is done for that. So around 3 years for Bhakti Vaibhava, 3 years of Bhakti Vedanta, 3 years of Bhakti Sarvabhauma, 1 year for Bhakti Shastri, 10 years study program. Okay? So then you will get degrees also, all these degrees. So I think we did something for today. Yes, Hare Krishna everybody. Any questions anybody has? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you everybody.